I read an article that said, if you really want to change your life, you should save half your income. And just like you, I thought, well, okay, that's great. Like, sure, if you're super rich, then maybe it's just the difference between not buying a new BMW this year or something like that. But I can't do that.
Welcome to the Couple Money Podcast. Even though the year is already half over, there is still plenty of time to achieve big things in 2016. As we're going through the steps and different ways you can get closer to financial independence, we've gotten to the part where things go from incremental to big. How big? Like saving half your income. You might feel like you've already cut your bills down and you'd rather find ways to make money. Don't worry, we'll get into that later in the next few episodes. But today, we're going to examine how you can start saving big chunks of money. The money you stash away can be used for paying down debt faster, growing your savings for emergencies, giving you a buffer to make a career or life change, or be invested so you can retire sooner. Joe and Kathleen from Stacking Benjamins have some great ideas to give you a boost with your finances. Kathleen had to deal with some of the same doubts you're probably having now. A few years back, she was in debt.
I had a mountain of credit card debt. And actually, that's the reason I started a personal finance blog myself, was because I had gotten myself into $25,000 in credit card debt. And I woke up on my 30th birthday and I still had some left. And I thought, okay, you're in your 30s now. It's time to grow up and get that fixed.
To find money to dump this debt, she began making drastic changes to her spending.
And so I started living very much like a monk and just started diligently paying everything down.
Yeah, she was serious, but even she was skeptical about saving half her income.
I read an article that said, if you really want to change your life, you should save half your income. And just like you, I thought, well, okay, that's great. Like, sure, if you're super rich, then maybe it's just the difference between not buying a new BMW this year or something like that. But I can't do that.
But then she realized it wasn't as huge of a leap as she originally thought.
And then I started talking to friends about it, and they said, because you're not continuing to get into debt, you can count those debt payments as your savings. And so if you count those, how close did you get? And so I did the math, and at the end of 2012, I had saved 47% of my $33,000 income.
Kathleen began to get a clearer picture of what could help her go further.
Okay, that's awesome. If I can do that, then other people can do it too. I started talking to my friends who made more money, and everyone's like, no, not really. And I thought, it's actually, the mindset is so hard. It sounds so difficult. As if like it's like you walk into a room and you're like, I save half my income. And by the way, I just read the entire dictionary, or something ridiculous. But when I started talking to Joe about it, it's way, way more about setting up systems.
As a former financial advisor, Joe knows how crucial systems can be, especially with big goals.
Yeah, there's a couple things. What gets measured gets respected. I had a great mentor tell me that one time, and it's been so true my entire career as a financial advisor. Every business I've started, if I measure it, I respect it, and the people around me respect it. So when Cheryl and I, my spouse and I, we try to do anything together, if we're going to take it seriously, we measure our progress. So setting up a series of measurements. Okay, where am I at now? How far am I away from 50%? What are the key things where we've got money that's bleeding out that we should figure out a new lifestyle change, like not something that's going to be like a fad diet, but some way we're going to live our life differently on a weekly, daily basis so that we get further ahead and get closer to saving 50%.
He's seen patterns with clients and through his work with Stacking Benjamins and knows how difficult it can be to reach your goals. The first step, for some, is recognizing what's, or rather who's sabotaging things.
Once you find the money and you identify the money that you're going to save, finding secret ways to hide it from yourself. Because as you know, we're our own worst enemy, right? I mean, everybody has direct deposit as an example, but we all direct deposit money to the wrong place. We direct deposit directly to a checking account that has ATM card access, and the money all goes in Friday and it all comes back out on Saturday.
To deal with our sometimes self-destructive nature, Joe has a great hack with banking.
So the problem isn't direct deposit. The problem is us and where we're direct depositing to. So just one simple, cool tweak is this. Instead of direct depositing to a checking account, just make one trip to your bank. Actually, you can even do this online now. Change your direct deposit so it goes into a savings account that doesn't have ATM access. And then banks are happy to help you do this. Have the amount of money you need to live on each, every 2 weeks or every month, have that money then automatically moved from your savings to your checking. And what happens is this huge mindset shift. When you start off direct depositing to checking, what your brain says is, yeah, I'll save some money, but I'll do it after the month is over when the next paycheck comes in, just in case, right? Just in case something comes up, I'm going to leave it there. And you know what happens when you do that? If there's money in your checking account, the rule is something always comes up. But if the money is already in your savings account and now it's technically in your brain, it's already saved, and then something comes up, we're amazing. Human beings are phenomenal. We can find other ways around most problems. So we leave the money saved. And I found that making that one little system change has helped people save tons of money they didn't think they could.
For couples, one of the best systems you can develop is having regular check-ins with one another.
A lot of this for couples is more about communication than knowing where every dime is spent. So one thing that I really like is a weekly, Cheryl and I do this, we have a weekly meeting. It's not a long meeting. A lot of people aren't drinkers. Cheryl and I, though, we like a glass of wine. We did this, by the way, my twins are 20 now. We started these weekly meetings when my kids were still having nap time. And so it was Sunday afternoon at 2:00. My twins went in for a nap, and we would have a glass of wine and we would look over all the bills together. We would look over all that came in that week. We would look over all of our savings together. And then we talk about big expenses coming up the next week. And it is amazing when we're both on the same page.
And if you're looking to stress less on bills and juggle so many things, Kathleen has a suggestion. Simplify. Starting with what's typically our biggest expense, housing.
So you can consider downsizing. We focus on minimalism. So is the whole point in my opinion, of minimalism is the less you have, the less you want. And vice versa. So the more you have, the more you feel like you need to acquire. And so getting rid of a bunch of stuff makes you realize, well, gosh, we have 2 empty rooms that we don't need. Maybe we could move out of this bigger house and move into something smaller, or a home that's more efficiently laid out. My house is 1,800 square feet, but it's laid out in a way that makes it really feel big. It's an open layout plan, and so you don't need as much space maybe as you think you do.
Even if you can't get to saving half your income, there's a great chance you'll be stashing away more than you anticipated, which is a win in my book. Special thanks to Kathleen and Joe. If you want to learn how to save more, please visit and subscribe to Stacking Benjamins. It's a very cool podcast. And don't forget to check out their Save 50 course, which can take you step by step into the process, and you get to hang out with others who are going big with their money. I'll have the links up in the show notes along with other resources. And I want to say thank you. The Couple Money Podcast is made possible because of listeners like you. Every tweet, Facebook like, rating, and review you make gets the word out. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.